Then, hello guys, it's me, Shogo. So today we're going to be getting back to the top of the list of the lessons the curriculum kind of thing I created for men's kimono lessons. And I actually wanted to change the time a little bit. Especially for those of you training Asame you know Kurosawa Sensei, right? The Shihanda Sensei from Asame you. Kurosawa Sensei is also a branch leader and instructor in Negishiryu Shuriken Jutsu, and the Negishiryu online lessons are actually held in the morning. And we've been discussing whether it's better if we hold it at the 7:30 a.m. in Japan time or 9:30 a.m. Now, we understand time differences, and some people, of course, it's less convenient, some people it's more convenient, and 7:30 is really early in the morning in Japan time, right? Especially for Kosasu and I, we both have kids, so we're like, let's see how the members will change depending on the time. So we wanted to experiment, especially the first half when we did all the men's kimono lessons already. We did it at 7:30 a.m. So I thought maybe if we do it from 9:30 a.m. Japan time, there'll be more people will be able to participate and different members will be able to come. So I wanted to try it out this time. Okay, so the rest of the year from October to the end of this year, so hopefully we'll be able to do like what, maybe 10 lessons or so. We'll probably be able to cover almost everything. We'll probably be doing it this time, unless I have something going on. Today was actually supposed to be the day my second daughter, my middle child, was supposed to have her sports festival. In Japan, it's like a really huge event for his kids at school because it's called Undokai. It's really not just like a sports festival, but they do a lot of preparations for it. They prepare for the sports that they do. There's actually sometimes they would dance, have some small performances and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was supposed to be today, but the forecast said it's going to be rainy. Yes, it's very, very rainy right now. Yes, you can see yeah, you can see the very dry ground and everything. It's very rainy. So they had to postpone it to tomorrow, which means I can't participate anymore because tomorrow I'll be heading over to just what we're talking about right now for the filming for Negishiri Shurikenjutsu. Yeah. For Negishiri Shurikenjutsu, we actually haven't properly got any, should I say, good pictures and videos for promotion. So tomorrow we're going to be heading over to a nice tea garden. Yeah, we're going to be setting up some time mats for that. So unfortunately, I'll be gone really early in the morning. So tomorrow's Japanese online lesson, by the way, guys, I'll have it in the post, but it's gonna start from 6:30 a.m. in Japan time because by 8 o'clock I need to be on the Shinkansen. So that means 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. I will hop on the Shinkansen right away after the Japanese online lesson. I'll head over to the Kanto area to do that filming. So, but anyways, with all that said, today we're gonna get to the top. So we're gonna start from doing the Hakobi time. Um, Basically, kakobi tying's the typical ones. There are some people who make like really unique ways of tying the kakobi. That's almost like impossible to do or takes like 10 minutes sometimes. There are like people who do like cat ties. So the knot that you make all in the end looks like a cat. Yeah. And I think it's all originally for women's hanhaba obi, which is the most casual type of obi for women. They have like really unique ways of tying it, right? Very beautiful ways of doing it. And some people try to, bring that into the kakobi too. Yeah, but I personally feel it's a little bit too troublesome, and especially if you wear a hakama, it's going to be hidden anyways for most cases. So I think just sticking to the typical the eight ways of tying that's been brought down through history, since the time when samurai still existed. Personally, I like to stick with those. So yeah. So today, the one we're going to be practicing, the two we're going to be practicing is going to be katabasami and Rōnin-musubi. Okay, and katabasami, as I explained before, is the easiest way to tie the kakobi. And also in the past, it was the time when the samurais would stay at home, and just spend time at home without their hakama. Katabasami would be the way they would tie their kakobi. If you are taking the Tanto classes of Shinkaguri Hogaha of Six and Sei's online lessons, he talked a little bit about that once a samurai would go home, they would take their daisho, which is the long katana, and the uchi katana and the wakizashi out of their belt and put it on the sword rack in their alcove. And in the not the kamidana, what is it again? The Japanese is not coming out. Yeah, the place where the floor is a little bit high. There's usually be a hanging scroll there. Say that again, honey. Tokonoma, sorry. Thank you, honey. My wife's over there. Tokonoma in Japanese. In the Japanese style room, you usually be in the farthest corner of the room. If you ever been to like a Japanese room or Japanese style restaurant, you find it. Tokonoma would usually be the place where they would keep their katanas. Now, after they have their katanas in the tokonoma, they would change their katana to a tanto. So in that case, it would be called a maizashi. And even if they're in a kinagashi style, they want to be prepared for battle just in case. And when they do that, the katabasami was the way they would tie their kakuobi. Okay? Now, with that said, kakuobi, yeah, we want the first side, one end of the kakobi to be folded vertically like this. And we call this a te in Japanese. Te means handle. Like a doorknob is called totte. Totte means, toru means to take. And te means the handle. So it's the handle that you take to open the door. Totte. So we call this the te. Okay? So for the katabasami, usually it really depends on which textbook you read, but it's the shortest. Yeah. So approximately about 20, 25 is enough. I would say 20 is a little bit too short for my personal experience. I would go with 25. So the width, yes, of a kakobi is approximately 10 centimeters. However, as you can see, this one's actually a little bit wide. Some depending on the kakobi that you use, it's a little bit different. So it's not 100% the case. Take a look at this. See? You can see that the brown one I have right now is a lot wider. Yeah. But approximately 10 centimeters, okay, is the width. So what you can do is by making a triangle like this, you can actually measure 10 centimeters. Basically, by folding here, this is 10 centimeters. You fold it again, this is 20 centimeters, right? Yeah. And half of that, so maybe so around here, approximately, doesn't have to be that long. Okay. Then once you have the te created, you hold it here so you know where the te ends and begins. So you bring it to the back behind you, and you bring the te right at the center of your body. Okay. And you start wrapping the obi, yeah, under the te that you made. So once you start wrapping, you have the te sticking out like this in the front. Okay. At this point, I want you to be careful. The obi and also the hakama, if you're ever going to be wearing hakama too, the front has to be lower, the back has to be higher like this. So imagine the back of the kakuobi is kind of supporting your backbone, your waist bone right here, and the front is the top of the obi is kind of covering your tanden. Okay, martial artists, yeah, Budo martial artists, we know tanden, right? We talk about tanden all the time. So about 3 or 4 fingers lower than your belly. My belly button's right here, by the way. 3 or 4 fingers lower than your belly button. This is where the tanden is supposed to be. So the top of the obi is right where the tanden is. Okay, and the obi is under that. So if you have a big belly like I have right here, it's supposed to be in a shape where it kind of supports your stomach for you. Okay. And a lot of people ask me, Shogo, why would the kako be at this angle? Why can't it just be flat, you know? And in some special occasions, like occasions, which I say, if you're, for example, you don't have a belly like I do, yeah, if you're rather skinny, then if you try to wrap the kakuobi in the traditional way, it gets really loose very easily because as you walk, the obi is going to go up, 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 and it's going to get really loose. So if you're very skinny, then it's okay to have it flat. Yeah, it'll make your kimono look a lot neater. Yeah, in that case. But traditionally, the reason why you would do it this way is because number one, yeah, there's a few reasons I'm hoping to make a video about this, by the way. But simply by our spine, the structure of our spine, you know that the spine is in an S shape. Yeah, by putting the obi in this shape, it actually supports your waist and your spine. And number two, yeah, if you are martial arts training with katanas, like the members who are here with me right now, you would have a katana in your obi, right? So if you have, for example, I only have one layer right now. If you have the front tilted slightly forward, can you see how the katana will be able to face forward more? Yeah. If this was flat, can you see how much the skull will point up? You can't use a katana like this every time. Yeah. You want the katana to be facing toward the opponent as much as possible, even when it's on your waist. So by bringing the front of the kakuobi a little bit lower, yeah, you'll be able to do that. Okay. And there's a few other reasons, but I'll talk about that in the short video I'm hoping to make because I do have to do a little bit more research. Okay. All right. So with that said, again, you have the tail sticking out in the center, and you start wrapping the rest of the obi around your body. Okay. And one thing I want you to be careful of, I was holding another men's kimono lesson yesterday, but for kimono, for men, women both, you want to keep the obi, kimono, everything hama snug as possible, right? You want it to be close to your body as much as possible. However, don't do that only at the end, okay? You you keep the tension the whole time as you wrap it around your body, okay? If you only pull very strongly at the very end, like okay, it's almost over, let's make it snug and do it at the very end, the inside layers are going to be very loose. Okay, so you want every part of the obi to be snug, so you don't have to put that much power, but you want to have a certain amount of power as you do it the whole time. Okay, and not suddenly pull it at the end. Okay, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you have it nice and snug, and then you, after wrapping it twice, yeah, you have this side now is called the tare, the other side. Okay, this side is the te, this side is the tare. Tare means to hang, by the way. In Japanese, tareru means to hang like this. So we call this the tare. Probably. Yeah. I've never got the proper answer, but probably because otherwise tare, as I talked about before, it means sauce. Like dipping something in sauce, kind of sauce. Yeah. So probably not that. So it probably means to hang. Yeah. So this is the tare side. Now, for the katabasami, you have the tail length, right? You want the tare to be approximately about 2 times longer. Okay. And in order to adjust that, you can see it's really, really long, a lot longer now right now. So you want to adjust it by folding it in half and putting the rest of the obi inside. Okay, like this. And now you can kind of adjust it. You can hide more if you want to. Okay, and you have the tare and the te crossed in front of you like this. Okay, now for katabasami, Rōnin-musubi, kainokuchi, and also kichiya-musubi. Yeah, all these ones you would have the tare over the te. So once you have the length of the tare correctly adjusted, you bring the te under the tare like this. Okay, then into this hole that you made with the cross of the te and the tare, you put the tare in here, and you'll be able to tie it like this. Okay, like this. Then this until here actually is the same for the Kichiya Musubi, Kainoguchi, Roni Musubi, it's all the same. But for Katabasami, it's the easiest. Okay, you bring this side this way. Okay, so you bring this tare side into one of the layers in here, and it goes in here like this. Okay, like this. Okay? And I'm getting better recently. The te and the tare, yeah, you want the length to be approximately about the same, like this would be the ideal length. Okay? And this is very, very strong. It's really, especially recommended for beginners. If you, like Michael, for example, if you ever are going to be having students and they're struggling with their kakobi, yeah, this is absolutely the most recommended way to teach them. It's very, very easy. Yeah, and if you can explain the points of them too in the future, it'd be great, I think. Yeah. All right. So like this. And you always turn your kakobi once it's completed every knot. Yeah, you would turn it clockwise. Okay. And the reason why you don't want to turn it counterclockwise is because it will mess up your kimono that you're wearing. Okay? And one more key point, you want to bring, if you're not going to be wearing a hakama, you want the knot to be a little bit off to the left side of your body. It's not completely at the center, but a little bit off to the side, to the left. Okay. But once you turn your kakobi all the way clockwise to the right position, go a little bit too far, like this. Go a little bit too much to the left. Okay, and then adjust it by bringing just a little bit to the right, like this, and make the final adjustments. Okay, and the reason is because by turning your kakobi clockwise the whole time, it starts to create wrinkles like this to the left. Okay, and then your situation and everything is off. So at the end, by shifting a little bit back to the right, it brings the wrinkles back to the right position just a little bit. Okay, but for all of this to not happen in the first place, ideally you should tuck it and then turn your obi and then bring your belly out again. Yes, and hold it in place. Okay, and again, of course, even if it still is off, you can use your fingers. You can put your fingers into the obi like this and spread it out to the side. This is how you do it with kimonos. Can you see my hand? Sorry. You put it into your obi and bring it out to the side. You don't pull it too much. You'll break the fabric. You might tear the fabric. So you put your finger into the obi and you spread it out to the side like this. Okay. Now all this knowledge is thanks to my wife Harumi Sensei, who is a professional kimono instructor right now. I hope she's listening to me and smiling a little bit. Okay. Then now this is Katabasami. Okay, if you're going to be doing it, and with the hakama, by the way, the ichimonji knot we practiced before is the official way of tying the kakobi where we're going to be wearing the hakama. However, of course, let's say if you're training budo and such, ichimonji takes a little bit of extra time. It takes about 1.5 to 2 times more time to tie compared to tying the katabasami. So if you're running out of time, if you're going to be teaching a beginner, so they don't just give up Budo because tying the kakobi is a little bit complicated, doing the katabasami is totally fine. Okay? Other ties like the Rōnin-musubi we're going to be doing now, Rōnin-musubi, Kai-no-kuchi, yeah, Kichiya-musubi, these other ties aren't very recommended because those are meant for fashion. Yeah, especially for Kai-no-kuchi, I'm sure Michael, Edward, you two would know, but the Kai-no-kuchi is actually a little bit crooked on purpose. Yeah. Um, the kabuki actors in the past are, considered fashionable. We're all crooked, basically. A little bit tilted to the side was considered fashionable. Look at me, kind of thing. My obi, oh, it's not straight. I want to have it crooked. I'm different from a samurai, kind of thing. So Kaneguchi, if you try to put the back support of a hakama in that, it turns to the side if you put it into a kainoguchi knot. Yeah. So it's not recommended. Usually a katabasami or the ichimonji. Okay? All right. Then, with that said, let's do Katabasami version 2. Katabasami version 2, or we call it the Rōnin-musubi. Okay? The change is very, very minor, actually. Just a little bit. However, I would like to change my OB because this OB is actually perfect length. For Kichiya Musubi, yeah, which is a variant of the Kainoguchi, and also the Ronin Musubi, which is a variant of the Katabasami, using a slightly longer obi is actually recommended. So for the video too, yeah, for the archive as well, I want to change my obi to, oh, what a nice obi I have. My original one. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to tell you, but this is my original kimono too. Yeah, it's a hangi, so it only comes to about the length of your knees. So it's meant to be worn together with the hakama, by the way. Yeah. But this and the other one that I think I've showed in class already before, maybe the Ryuko I haven't shown so much, but or maybe I've not shown you this one either. Yeah. But this is the Budogu Narabe. Budogu Narabe. You can see all the different weapons of Asai Meiji, yeah, included in it. Yeah, there's a wakizashi, tessen, the two staffs, tamagusari, chain ball, sickle, and all these different weapons. Yeah, included in it too. This is my original design. All right. Love both of them. Thank you so much. It's my favorite tie good. Oh, and thank you so much, Mike. I actually prefer this time. That's good. Okay. Then, guys, oh, and by the way, this is Ryuko. That was the Budogu Narabe. And this is Ryuko, Dragon and Tiger. Mhm. Ryuko is actually one of the names of the katas in Asayama Shinryu, the forms. Yeah, so I wanted to make a design like this. And I've actually been, yeah, I was really worried about how it would turn out. It's very different to see the design on paper and actually on a kimono. Yeah, but it turned out to be really, really cool. So a lot of people, even though I haven't told them that it's my original kimono, many people then telling me, "Oh, I love your kimono. It looks really cool. Where'd you get it?" I was like, "No, I actually got it myself, I didn't buy it, but I designed it. So they're very happy they like it. Yep. And with that said, let's move on to the second knot of the day, which is the Rōnin-musubi. Okay. And the reason why we call this the Rōnin-musubi, can you guys guess why? Why is the Rōnin-musubi called the Rōnin-musubi? Ronin, as you probably know, are formal samurais that lost their lords, that lost their last names, and such, and they're not samurai anymore. Are called Ronin. They're usually wanderers. And okay, why is this type called Rōnin-musubi? So only Ronin were allowed to wear this kind of thing? The answer is no. Actually, the te is going to be sticking out from the top if you do the Rōnin-musubi, and that sticking out looks like a katana. Yeah. So some people call it the samurai tie, samurai musubi sometimes too. But I like calling it Rōnin musubi. And the reason why people usually call it Rōnin musubi is because there's only one katana sticking out, right? Yeah. Samurais were supposed to have two katanas with them. So having only one katana on your waist, and you're actually not allowed to because you're not a samurai anymore. Yeah, but some Ronin would because they were originally samurai. They actually sometimes have their katanas with them and they would become wanderers, and traveling across Japan with one katana. Yeah, that's the reason why they call it the Ronin Musubi. There's different theories to it, but that's the story I personally like the most. Okay, for Ronin Musubi, you want the te to be very, very long. Okay, I would say try to get at least 50 centimeters. 50 centimeters. So that means, oh, sorry, Edward probably accidentally left the. Okay, so if you count using this 10 centimeters, one triangle, two triangles, three triangles, four triangles, five triangles. The longer the better, I think. Yeah, especially for Rōnin-musubi. If your te is too short, you can't do it in the end. So I'm going to be taking it a really, really long. Okay. All right. Then the same thing you do. You bring it to the back. There we go. And you wrap it around your body. Okay, and as I'm doing right now, yeah, it is better if you turn your body and try to keep the obi, yeah, on the same position on the floor as much as possible, like this. Because for example, this obi that I'm actually wearing right now is a very high quality silk one that's still made by hand. Yeah, you don't want to drag it along the floor too much. If you stay here and turn the obi around you, you will drag the obi along the floor, and also it's going to get tangled around your feet, around your legs too. So you don't want that to happen either. So ideally, you turn your body. Okay. All right. Then once you come here, the first part is the same. Okay. You adjust the length of the obi, sorry, the tare, and you make it about the same length as you made earlier. And from here, you put the tare over the te, and you bring it up like this and you make a knot. Okay. Now earlier, remember what we did? We turned the tare over here and put it into obi this side, right? What you do this time is very simple. You do the same thing, but you just bring the te upward like this. So the te was originally like this earlier in Katabasami, as you can see. Okay. But you bring the te here and you put the te under the tare. So you have this sticking out from this side like this. Hopefully you can see. Might be a little bit different. Different. Difficult. Yeah. I really hope the lighting in my room was a little bit better. I feel like my tail needs to be even longer, so let me try to do this a little bit more on the right side of my body. I personally love doing the Rōnin-musubi. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so if you're, for example, just like I did right now, if you felt like your te or tare is okay, too short, too long and such, try making the knot a little bit to the left to make the tare longer. If you want the te to be longer, make the knot like I'm doing right now a little bit more on the right side of your body, and you'll be able to make the tare shorter, te longer. Okay, left side is the opposite. Okay, so you can do that to adjust a little bit too. Yeah, it's really difficult to get it at the right position every time with different obis, So. All right. Then you do the same katabasami, but when you do that, you have the te sticking out from in between the patty you just inserted into the obi, so it should look like this. Oh my gosh, sorry. Flashy kimono and flashy obi does not make it really easy to see, does it? But it's really simple though. All you did is just you brought the te side up and put it in between the pare that you just inserted into one of the layers of the obi. Okay? Hopefully you can see like this. I'm wearing normal socks. It's really weird. There you go, like this. And again, same thing. You turn it clockwise, like this. A little bit too much to the left, a little bit too much to the left, and shift it back to the right just a little bit to adjust. Okay, right here should be perfect. Okay, so this is actually pretty well done. Yeah, like this. Okay, so this is kind of like the katana, basically that's into your obi. Then you have a single katana, so or maybe it could be a wakizashi too. This is the Rōnin-musubi. All right. Thank you so much. Were you able to do it, Michael? Did you try it out? Can you see? Oh, it's perfect. Just like that. Yeah, especially I personally feel if you're like wearing a yukata, yeah, and most people would just do like the katabasami or maybe the kaidabuchi, right? If you're doing the ronin musubi when you're wearing a yukata and such, you'll be walking around. I personally, like people like me who love kimonos, would be like, "Oh, that guy, now he knows what he's doing," kind of thing. That makes sense. Yeah, it's a kind of communication between people who like kimonos without speaking. Yeah, if they can do the ronin musubi like this. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Then, in the near future, from all this experience that I'm gaining through holding these lessons with you guys, I'll definitely be making more videos. Let's Ask Shogo with better shots, with better video quality, and a lot of cuts and everything without all my rambling and everything. Yeah. So I hope you can look forward to it. If this lesson, if it was still a little bit difficult to understand, will those videos be coming out in the future too? So I hope you look forward to it. Okay. All right. I was actually waiting to make those videos on Let's Ask Shogo because on the original kimonos. Yeah, and the original obis were not here yet. And there's if you've been seeing my Instagram, we actually Hadimi and I went to go to a studio just about a week ago to go and film, take some pictures of some of the other kimonos that we have that aren't our original kimono, but we have a company that we work with, and we'll be selling those kimonos in the future too. So yeah, hopefully once we properly get the website ready. The crazy thing is that, the website that we were going to be selling the kimonos, we were really working on that very much. And then a completely new story came up with the Asami Shinryu training we're doing, and my club activities. Yeah, there's going to be not just that. There's actually a few. Wait, hold on. That's one thing. And there's actually a huge change in Tsukara Sensei and Kurosawa Sensei's online lessons for Asami Shinryu. There's going to be a huge change in the shooting Genjutsu online lessons we were talking about. And there's so many new things going on, and I'm preparing a lot of posts and pictures and everything, and I'm scheduling them at the right timing, them to be posted and stuff. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of preparations, and Harumi is very excited about that, too, helping me out with new designs and stuff like that. So, and my online lessons, speaking of online lessons, my online lessons for Asami Shinryu training is going to be beginning very soon too. So we have to pause the making the kimono website for a while. So, but it's going to be coming out very soon. Once it does, to promote, the kimono brand and everything, I'll definitely be making more videos. So, oh, one last thing, by the way, I just redid it one more time. But be careful not to pull the tape up too much. If you do that, can you see this bottom line here? If you pull it up too much, see, this is going to happen, and it's going to make it a little bit messy. So be careful. This bottom line of the obi should be flat. So pulling this up too much is not good either. So you should adjust it at a point where this part of the obi will be flat. Okay, this part. Sorry, I should show this. I was showing this side the whole time. This side, yeah. You don't want to be pulling it up. If you pull it up too much, this is going to happen. So don't pull it up too much, but be sure this width is still here, like this. And this is more than enough to keep the obi in place. So like this. Okay, now you can see this is the width of the obi. The te is here, and it goes up into the tare. Comes out this way. Tare too. If you pull it too much, this is going to be a little bit crooked too. So adjust it to the level where everything is going to be nice and straight and flat. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. Then we will continue doing our practicing for the obi wrapping for a while. So we did the Katabasami and Rōnin-musubi today. Next week we'll probably be doing the Kainoguchi and the Kichiyamusubi. And then I think Ichimonji will just include it in the time when we talk about the hakamas. Maybe the front knot. There's three different ways to tie the front knot of the hakama. So when we talk about that, maybe we can include the Ichimonji there. There's also a variant of the Ichimonji katanagashi. So we could do one class just for that, but I'm afraid we might run out of time if we, spread everything out too much. And I do want to do the hekobi too, the soft obi. The hekobi is like for the obi for yukatas. I would definitely like to do a lesson of that also. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll continue to do the different kakobi time for a while. I'll try to cover everything. Okay, then I'll put those back. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time today too. All right. Then, thank you so much. Hopefully, probably Hanami is listening to me talking, but hopefully we'll be able to start selling our kimonos this year. Maybe. The website has to be ready, and the company we're working with right now, yeah, because the original kimonos I have is there's only two. There's only one original kakobi, and that's it. I don't have anything else. I have no seta, I have no juban, I have no other kimono, I have no hakama, and no nothing, right? So the company that we're trying to work with right now, they're I don't I don't mean to be rude. Seriously, I don't mean to be rude, but they're a little bit. Their whole company is their average age is quite high, so the way they respond is a little bit slow. sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, how do I read emails?" And stuff like that. "Oh, okay, well, don't worry, we'll give you a phone call," kind of thing happens because it's a company in the countryside area, and but we're hoping to be able to start selling tatsuke bakama, well, the usual, of course, umanori bakama. The jinbaori are going to be sold there too. Hopefully, yeah. And there's gonna be some really cool design ones, like the ones. I mean, sure, you two would know, but like the camel ones, the camouflage ones. These will be on sale too. There are some, I think it was cheetah designs, so some really, really cool ones too. I think the Jinbaori is gonna be great. I actually purchased a Jinbaori from a different company already, but I want to try to stay in my dogi, even when there's nothing happening inside my house, if that makes sense. I want to be wearing my dogi as much as possible when I go and pick up my kids. I want the people in my community to know that I'm like a person doing martial arts because I get to have my own community in Kyoto from now on. I want to have that image implanted in everyone, kind of thing. Yeah. But when you walk around just in your dogi, like most people think, like, is that person like in a club activity at school, or but he looks old, so what is this guy doing? But just putting the Jinbaori on, like Edward Michael, you would probably have an image of Six Sensei wearing it in some of the videos. Just putting the Jinbaori on makes your dogi look so much more official, formal, and it looks very, very different. So I'm really hoping that I can try to spread the culture of Jinbaori a little bit more to people who like martial arts. Yeah. So they'll be able to just, put on a Jinbaori and it look really, really cool. If the culture can spread a little bit more, yeah, I think it'd be great. So yeah, I personally really love Six Sense's fashion. So all right. Then, guys, I hope you can look forward to that too. All right. Thank you so much. I want one as well. Yeah, absolutely. The one that the company sells actually has a common crest on the back. Yeah. And there's one series where you can choose different colors, literally the different colors, like green, brown, blue, red, purple. Yeah. And all that kind of stuff. So I hope you can look forward to it. Yep. The one I bought from a different company is actually black and supposed to arrive this Sunday or Monday after this time I go to Kanto. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I look forward to see you guys next week. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. Please enjoy the rest of your day or good night from Japan. Okay. Bye bye.